What did your partner X do that made you look at them differently? 1. When we had just started dating, my husband kept canceling or rescheduling dates to go visit his sick friend in the hospital. It turns out the friend was real, not a made-up excuse, and had emergency brain surgery to relieve fluid buildup and pressure. He didn't have somewhere he could recover with help available, so my husband put him up in his little condo. When the tests came back that it was terminal brain cancer, he let him stay rent-free so that his disability payments would be enough to enjoy life without stressing about finances or pressure to return to work too early. And there would be someone there to help him if needed. When we had a brief period where we thought maybe he'd live longer and he went back to work full time, the original tumor was actually seemingly defeated. But then a few months later, two new ones formed. My husband asked him to pay a small rent and was secretly keeping it in an account to give back to him to help get him started if, when he could move out. My husband rearranged his one-bedroom condo to make a permanent space in the living room, so his friend could stay there and the space was still usable. I was amazed by his kindness, and it spoke volumes about what kind of person he was and how he would handle difficult situations. For those that are wondering, we all became great friends and had fun hanging out in that condo together. But sadly our friend passed away after about 2 years. However, he didn't have to worry about money or care, and he was happy for the time he had left. He said he didn't have a bucket list and just wanted to enjoy life with his friends and family. And he got to do that while staying out of palliative care for as long as possible. I really wish he could have seen us get married. But we dressed up the cardboard box with our portion of his ashes in a little custom box-sized suit that matched my husband's, put googly eyes on it, and it sat at the head table between us. 2. My partner shifted my mom to our house during the COVID days. My mom was severely ill with COVID and he chose to take care of her, then move her to a hospital for isolation. We couldn't keep her with my dad since he has a lot of comorbidities and a low immunity. He did not fear getting infected from her and took care of her day and night like his own mother. He used to lift her and take her to the washroom as she was very weak and recovering from low oxygen. 3. All the other ones are disappointing. This one sounds nice. 4. Now that's a man. I hope your mother is doing better. 1.5. Yes, she is. By God's grace. After 2 weeks of COVID, we had to move her to the hospital as her oxygen dipped to 85. Then my then boyfriend, and now husband, brought her back to our place where she stayed for 2 more months and underwent lung physiotherapy to gain back her strength. This was back in 2020. 6. Said we need to buy a house big enough for my grandmother to live with us instead of her living in a retirement home. Then he found the house and remodeled a first floor to include a 1-bedroom apartment for her. She lived with us for 15 years and died at home with her family around her. Now my dad lives with us in that apartment and it is the best thing ever. Hubby is a rock star. 7. He's now my husband, but before, when we were close friends, we did have a connection I thought was one-sided and never told him. Anyway, I went through a very difficult situation and opened up to him. I ended up sleeping over and cried periodically throughout the night, and he would wake up and comfort me. I basically wanted to give up, but he came up with solutions and helped me get into contact with someone who assisted me in turning things around. He was just there for me throughout the years in so many different ways. We were friends for 6 years before we got together, and I've seen him change a lot. He had his own struggles. He went to therapy and sorted himself out. He shows up for me every day and I do the same. I lost my job not long ago and am in a bit of a rut. So this morning, as he was getting ready to leave, he made me a coffee in my travel mug, told me to get ready so I could walk him to the underground station. It's sunny out, and it's his way of getting me up and out and started with my day. I told him I wanted to paint this morning and he tried to make sure I would. I love him so much. 8. We had just got in my car when it was snowy and very icy out. He saw a woman we vaguely know who is nearly blind and has developmental issues trying to cross the road at a very dangerous spot. Leapt out the car to help her and walked her home to make sure she was safe. He also offers to help anyone who looks like they're struggling with anything. He's a keeper. 9. I had a pretty severe injury that I tried to downplay for years. Sometimes, when my ex was asleep, I would sneak out and sleep on our cheap couch when I was as in pain because it was a bit more comfortable. One night, I did this, and as I was making up the couch, she just walked in with the blanket from the bed and laid down on the short part of the sectional, so we were head to head and went to sleep without saying anything. That relationship ended up blowing up in my face, but for a few years, we were really in love, and I hope everyone gets a chance to feel that kind of love. 10. Stopped teaching yoga, went and got her GED at age 31. Enrolled in community college, transferred to university, graduated at 7 months pregnant. Took a year off to be with our daughter, got accepted to grad school, got her master's, brought in a second income for our family. Together 20 years next year. I'll never stop being impressed. 11. The juxtaposition of heartwarming and disgusting stories in here has me reeling yet hopeful. 12. What hammered it into my head that I loved him My now partner came over and carried my beloved 75-pound-old collie up and down the stairs to my condo to exit to toilet for months. Insisted on driving us to that awful appointment with the vet. Stayed with me during euthanasia and actually was tearful, as an emotionally avoidant man, and collected his ashes as he knew it would be horrendous for me. Then spent weeks sitting on the floor getting my new rescue to not be afraid of him. I am a very lucky woman, believe me, I know it. 13. Called me a narcissist for not messaging or calling her back during my aunt's funeral. Also, when my aunt died, she had a meltdown because I might miss her birthday. It's like a switch turned off that could never be turned back on, and from that moment, I knew it was over. 14. Said that Hitler was right for killing disabled people because in the wild animals will kill their young if they can't survive and are born with birth defects. By the way, I am disabled. 15. Mead said that the first evidence of civilization was a 15,000 years old fractured femur found in an archaeological site. A femur is the longest bone in the body, linking hip to knee. In societies without the benefits of modern medicine, it takes about 6 weeks of rest for a fractured femur to heal. This particular bone had been broken and had healed. Mead explained that in the animal kingdom, if you break your leg, you die. You cannot run from danger, you cannot drink or hunt for food. Wounded in this way, you are meat for your predators. No creature survives a broken leg long enough for the bone to heal. You are eaten first. A broken femur that has healed is evidence that another person has taken time to stay with the fallen, has bound up the wound, has carried the person to safety and has tended them through recovery. A healed femur indicates that someone has helped a fellow human, rather than abandoning them to save their own life. Margaret Mead. Not all of us evolved, it seems. 16. Gave food to a homeless guy and talked to him for a while, patted him on the back. He didn't think anybody was looking. I knew I loved him then.